Alright, so I was going to do this on a live, but unfortunately my YouTube, since I don't have 50 subscribers or more, won't let me do a live stream. So I got to do a post unboxing upload for the Creality K2 Plus. This is my second printer, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this unboxing video. I know some people are out there thinking, oh god, another unboxing of the K2 Plus. Well, the reason I'm doing it is I'm nobody on the internet. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't have any loyalties to any specific company. And I know that, you know, some content creators may say that they have unbiased unboxings and reviews of the printers, but if they have sponsorships to other companies or, you know, outside agencies, obviously their view is more than likely going to have a little bit of skew to it. So I wanted to kind of post an honest, completely unbiased unboxing and first prints of the K2 Plus combo, which you guys can see right there. It was a joy moving it from my house out to my wife's workshop. Weighs probably about 120 pounds if I had to guess. I know that people will say get somebody else to help you move it, or, you know, don't do it yourself, you know, yada yada. Unfortunately, my wife has a pacemaker, so she's kind of out of the question, and I don't have anybody else that can come over just on a whim to help me out with this, because it's right now 10 after 10 on a Sunday night. So all of my neighbors, all of my buddies, they're getting ready for work tomorrow. I'm fortunate enough to be able to use my GI Bill benefits. So I only go to class on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be able to take the time to do this and kind of, like I said, give you guys an unbiased, a truly unbiased, uncensored opening of this printer. So what I'm going to do is, even though I can't do a live, I will record everything from me putting it onto the table, to taking the top lid off, to getting the printer at least set up. I might do this in a two-part video, so I may be wearing, you know, different clothes tomorrow, or whenever I'm able to get back out here and get the printer back up and running. Yeah, you guys will have to forgive my appearance. I am doing a remodel on my daughter's, or on my addition, to turn it into a playroom for my daughter. So I'm going to get you guys put in my phone case and get you set up, and we will see how this goes. It's not going to be any sort of professional setup or anything, because again, I am nobody on the internet. I mean, I've got a couple of wood turning videos, but that's about it. So yeah, here we go. So I don't really have anywhere in here to kind of put you guys, so I'm gonna see how does this look. Is that gonna stay? Alright, so again, I know it's not ideal, but you got to make do with what you have when you're not a professional doing this. Alright, so again, just getting it up here onto the table. Actually, you know what? I've seen a lot of people talk about how difficult it is to lift it out of the box when it's up on a table already. So what I'm going to do is set you guys up somewhere on my daughter's folding chair. And we'll go ahead and get it unboxed and set up on the table in just a minute. So set you guys up right here. I'll go over, what happens as I go. So obviously, if you've watched any unboxing or any reviews about this printer, you obviously know that there are instructions on the front. I've personally watched probably 30 to 35 videos of people doing this, so I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this box ripped open and we'll go from there. So I was a little wary about these plastic clips that hold the top part of the box onto the bottom, but it actually, because I figured with how heavy this printer is that, they get sheared off the minute I picked up the printer to move it out here, and, thankfully they've actually held up really well. So that, that's part of the packaging that, I am impressed by. Again, this is my second printer. I don't know what standard packaging looks like for other printers. My first printer was a Voron V0 gifted to me by my father a few years back. So yeah. Alright. So now we just lift this guy. Reference it if I need to. Alright, so again, if you guys have watched any reviews on this printer, it is pretty intimidating when you first take that that box off, or that cover, that top cover. But one piece at a time is all we can do, right? Okay. Holy shit, this thing's big. Alright, so this is pretty cool. None of the videos that I've watched has had people go through the stickers and, just kind of show, a little more everyday usage of the printer. So obviously you got the quick installation guide for the K2 Plus, you've got the quick installation guide for the CFS, you got a service card, I'm guessing for maintenance and stuff. Nope, this is the warranty paperwork and whatnot. And then the sticker, and then the QA tag, I'm guessing. Alright, so again, this is probably a familiar site. So you got the toolbox. We'll open that here in a minute. You've got the screen. Yes. Bonus accessories. You've got the spare nozzle. What I might do is I might actually just keep this tray and use it as storage and put it underneath the table here. Alright, you got the side spool holder. So I've seen people say that they had plastic spool holders, but this seems to be maybe cast aluminum. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Maybe even steel. It feels a lot higher quality than not. You got the buffer tube here where the CFS plugs into it. Again, I actually learned something new, that you can actually put that on the back of the CFS itself instead of on the back of the printer. You got the filament swatches, you got the power supply, you got the screen mount, you got some additional tools here. Alright, can't clutter up my table too much. Alright, so we got some PTFE tubing and the cable for the system cable for the CFS to the printer. Alright, so that seems about it for the top tray. Now I am going to set you all back down. I'll actually use the box here for, sorry about that. Use the top of the box here as kind of a stand to lift this next part out. So obviously the next part at this point is going to be to take the outside packaging off, which I'm not going to bore you guys with the details of that. I'm just going to rip it off real quick. And then we will lift the printer out and get it set up on the table over there. There it is. Right there in that spot there. Whoop. Try not to make it too much of a cluster in the shed here. So just to kind of give you guys a little overview of where the printer is going to be. So this is actually something that my wife and I recently got. So we run a business from home. It's Wolfpack Crafts, and I'll actually put that information down in the description of the video. If you guys want to go and check it out, we're on Facebook, Instagram. We actually just recently got a website up and running. I'm not 100% sure what that is because my wife is the brains behind that whole operation. I'm just, a labor guy. But yeah, so there's that, and then obviously the table that we're going through right here is where the printer and the CFS is going to be sitting. So right now, what I've got is, let me take you out of the case. So what we've got is the bag with the K2 Plus, and right there is the top plate for the printer itself. So yeah, here comes the fun part. I'm a little nervous about is I've seen a lot of posts on Reddit about people getting printers with broken feet, from shipping. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. About the packaging, so the printer itself feels like it's kind of dropped about 20 pounds probably, just from all of the packaging, which I'm not going to knock it because I'd rather my printer be overprotected than not protected enough. So let's try to actually, I'm going to set you guys up back over here again. And we will kind of go through getting it out of the bag together and go from there. So the front right foot, looking at it from the front, looks like it's got a little bit of a scuff on it, but it's not broken, so that's a good thing. Feet appear to be in good condition as well. So it seems like all 4 feet are good, which I am very happy about. So flip you guys around again. Sorry for all the camera flips and all the moving. Professional, I don't do this for a living. Just wanted to give you guys an actual production review of this printer, instead of the prototype styles and stuff like that that the content creators might receive. So inside of the printer itself, we've got 2 half spools of Hyper PLA. In the top we have red and blue. So we are going to set these back here on the box. And again, an absolute buttload of packaging. Kind of a pain to figure out how to get it out one-handed, but again, I would rather it be overprotected than underprotected. Alright, and inside of the printer itself, like all the other videos, we've got the CFS. So I've heard good and bad things about the CFS. This is probably going to be a two-part video. Part one is probably just going to be me getting the printer out, getting it up on the table, getting the... Sorry, didn't want you guys looking at my nose there. Get it up on the table, plugged in, powered on, and everything. And then tomorrow, because I forgot my laptop at the school. So today we'll probably just be getting it up on the table and powered, like I said. And then tomorrow, or whenever I'm able to get back out here again, we will go through the full setup, the full tuning. I might go ahead and do the initial calibration and get it to where the printer's connected to my Wi-Fi and do the update, the firmware update, or necessary updates, because I've had the printer for almost 2 weeks now. But like I said, I've been preoccupied with that renovation, so I haven't had time to get out here and get this up and going. But yeah, let me get you guys set back up, and we will go through the steps of getting the CFS out of the printer. Alright, another thing that I've heard people complain about is the tape that they put on the front door of the printer, which, if you guys haven't been able to tell, it's that banded tape, which I absolutely love this tape for shipping purposes, but I feel like it may be a little overkill for this, which I know that other people have had the same complaint with the glue residue and everything like that that gets stuck to the printer. Thankfully, it seems like the bit that I've got isn't grabbing too much on the printer and hasn't left any residue yet. The door is intact, which is good. Oh boy. Alright, again, we've got the top in this bag in this pouch here. And it comes with a band that you pull, and then it opens up to give you the top. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this in the pouch here and just off to the side of the camera so that way it doesn't get broken. Oh boy, that ain't good. Alright, so another issue that I've been seeing a lot of, which unfortunately I'm going to have to do something here, is the glue that they use for the hinges to kind of hold the hinges onto the window itself. You can see here that there's the glue residue, and that's because the hinge has actually come detached from the door. So that's a little disappointing, but so this is as far as the door opens. What angle that is, I'm not sure. There's kind of a sky view of it. Yeah, that's a little disappointing. Why are you not rotating? Sorry, I'm trying to get it to where it'll rotate. I don't know. I might just have to figure something out post-recording or before recording the next one. So what I'm trying to do now is just get enough of the packaging to where it will support the door, so that way the door doesn't get broken and I can actually finish going through and getting the CFS out and getting the print removed. Alright, so I just had to a little bit of the packaging there. Kind of created a makeshift stand for it. Alright, so this is what the CFS looks like inside of the printer. So you've got the top bracket here, bottom bracket here. You've got screws. You've got screws going in here and here, and then up in the top as well, here and here. And then you've got some screws. I know it's hard to see, but you've got screws right here going up into the frame, and then again on the other side as well. And then you've got two screws. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not, but there's two screws there, and then over on the other side as well. So I'm gonna get the Allen key from the bag up here. And thankfully it actually has, unfortunately I can't get my damn camera to focus, but it says unboxing wrench. So, which I'm actually quite impressed by that. They definitely, it seems like they've definitely dummy proofed this. And again, I'm probably not going to edit this video at all, just for the simple fact that I've seen too many edited videos, and I want to give you guys, again, an everyday user view on unboxing this printer and getting it set up. So I'm not sure if all of the screws are going to have the same size head, but if they do, then I really like that. I hate having to go through 3 or 4 different size screwdrivers and 3 or 4 different Allen keys in order to get something out of a package. And I mean, so the shop vacuums, not shop vac specifically, but shop vacuums, household vacuums, like the Swiffer jets, those you got to use 2 or 3 different tools to get them put together. And again, I don't really like that. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. And so something that I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but what I was hoping is if you guys could share this video on all of your platforms. I'm going to share it on Reddit just to try to spread the word about this unboxing video and the experience, so that way, you know, everyday Joe Schmoes like myself can see what it's like unboxing and receiving this printer. Side. Alright, so one piece of advice that I just figured out is it would probably be easiest if you took out the screws on that side and this side before taking the screws out of the CFS itself. Just kind of seems like it would make things a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of have to muscle the CFS out of the printer, and we'll go from there. And there it is. So we've got the side locks. There's one on this side, there's one on the other side. Just pop those open and the CFS opens like so. It appears that all of the pressure rails are intact. There's the air blower down in there, and that baggie, and then the desiccant packs. It's got the LED screen on the front. I know it's hard to see, but it's in there. And again, everything seems to be intact and undamaged. All of the hardware seems to be there, and I'm assuming that this right here is where the buffer tube can get put on the CFS. I don't plan on running more than one CFS because, again, I don't do any sort of production printing. I don't have a printing business, anything like that. End goal, maybe, I guess you can say, would be to become a regular reviewer of printers. I love 3D printing. I love the design aspect of it. I'm in my second CAD class for a mechatronics engineering degree path. Because again, I just love the design aspect of it. I love what goes into designing prints. I've actually got 3 or 4 print designs uploaded on Thingiverse that I designed in the CAD class and printed out. One of them was some, and now that I'm talking about it, I can't remember what the hell they're called, but it's so my daughter had a bubble blower for the shower, and it just wasn't producing enough air, so I went through and I created some new fan blades for that. I designed an F1 design inspired rubber band car, and printed that out. For the bubble blower fins, I used can't remember what it's called, but it was a resin printer, just so that way the dimensions and the tolerances were a lot more accurate than FDM printers can provide. And then the rubber band car I did out of PLA. I think it was just some unbranded PLA that the school orders. But yeah, if you guys want to go check those out, they were a lot of fun to design, and even more fun to print out and get the issues ironed out. So one thing that I was a little skeptical about was how much of a pain in the ass these screws are to really get to. And just the fact that it's so hard for me to get my camera on them, that should give you guys a little bit of insight into how difficult these damn screws are to get out. Unfortunately, my door popped off of its jack, off of its stand rather. And again, I hate seeming like a copycat of, oh, I don't know who the hell this guy is. He's just trying to get on the map for 3D printing reviews and yada yada yada. That's really not the case. I wanted to do, like I said at the beginning of the video, an honest, real-time unboxing and setup of the K2 Plus combo. So that's why I just go on rambling sprees. If you guys skip ahead, it doesn't really bother me all that much. Because like I said, I've got maybe 5 videos up on my YouTube channel of like wood turning and stuff like that. So right now I'm working on, like I showed you guys, I'm working on getting the 2 screws out of the left side of the bottom bracket for the CFS holder. And the inside of this machine is very, very impressive in size. So if you guys aren't not familiar with printers, the Voron V0 that I was talking about that my dad had given me a few years back, that is a 120 millimeters cubed. So that's 120X, 120Y, and 120Z. And this is 350 by 350 by 350. So you're talking 3 times the size of the only other printer that I've got. So this thing is ridiculous. Yeah, so I think if Creality could have done one thing better so far, it would be to use higher quality glue for the door, or for the hinges securing it to the door, and then doing long reach Allen keys. So I was a mechanic in the Marine Corps for just shy of 12 years. And I've been doing construction with my father-in-law for almost 15. And each tool has its place, and a standard size Allen key is not the right tool for at least getting to those bottom screws. If I have the ability to, I prefer to use long reach Allen keys anywhere I can, just because things can be a pain in the ass. So I'm going to take you guys back out of the case again and flip you inside of the printer. So yeah, there it is with the 2 brackets for the CFS taken out. The plate feels like a very high quality plate. Again, second printer, I'm not sure how it is compared to other printers, but the bottom side appears to be smooth. And whether you can print on both sides of it, or if you can only print on the textured side, I'm not sure about. I did see in other reviews that the toolkit has a glue stick in there. Personally, I've been using ABS ever since I started printing, and I've never had an instance where I've had to drop or had to use glue on a textured plate. So right here we have another half spool of black Hyper PLA, and then this one should be white. Yeah, half kilo of white Hyper PLA. So we have red, white, blue, and black. So now this is kind of being a pain in the ass. Alright, sorry about the break in the video. My wife asked me to go in and do something for her. So the only thing that I didn't get was taking out those 2 pieces of foam down there in the bottom. So now it's going to be pretty much just monotonous work, getting the 1 screw there, and there taken out, and those are holding the bed down. I don't know what would happen if you started the printer up with those still in, but I don't want to find out. And then I'm going to take out the rod braces on the side, pull off the sticker for the filters and the heater, and we'll try to get it up on the table. So I saw a couple of reviews of, from content creators who had these 3D printed. These are actually injection molded now, which makes sense when Creality's trying to pump out as many as they need to. Yeah, so let me get wherever the hell I put it, the Allen key again. Take out those 4 screws in each of the corners, and then that sticker. So one thing that I wanted to check out with the filters, so it appears that they're just carbon filters. I want to see how they're set up, because being out here in my wife's workshop, I don't want her to have to suffer with any unnecessary fumes that she doesn't have to. So if I can print a larger filter housing and provide a little bit more filtration for the air that's coming out of the printer, Because again, I primarily print with ABS. And if you're looking at this for your first printer, ABS stinks like shit. So again, if I can provide her a little more comfort out here in her working space, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And again, these filters may provide enough filtration that I don't even need to worry about making them filter more air. This is going to bug the shit out of me. So this is the first instance I've had where there's been residue, leftovers, the tape or the stickers or whatever, what have you. I'm not too worried about it with this being the first instance of it. I am very particular when it comes to cleanliness of my equipment, so this may be something where, you know, at a later date, once I get everything up and running and make sure that it's functioning properly, I'll take it inside, use some Goo Gone or some dish detergent and get that residue off of there. Alright, so here are the filter units. It appears to be carbon. I don't know how much filtering that's going to do. It does seem like they have some pretty beefy fans in there. But yeah, we'll just have to see. So what I'm going to do is when I get it set up and I go to do the first prints, you know, the Benchy, and I think there's one other. I think they have a single color Benchy and a multicolored Benchy. Whenever I go to do those, I might do the multicolored Benchy in the PLA, that, you know, the Hyper PLA, and then I might mess around with some of the settings and see if I can get the single color Benchy to print in ABS, so that way I can kind of see what the odor release is like. So the fans and everything like that seem to be intact, unbroken and everything like that, so that's good. The extruder seems to be in good shape. Doesn't appear to have any broken components. While we're on the topic of the extruder, I've seen quite a few posts of, I think it's 2077 or 2788, or, you know, a couple errors like that, that are related to the firmware updates. Hopefully I'll be able to dodge a bullet on that one, and not have any issues there. But let me get this door closed. And I'm actually going to take one of the pieces of tape from the door and put it back on the door so that way it stays closed. I'm not going to reference why, because the dude's already had enough shit given to him about it. So, pardon me while I get some tape. Alright, so one piece should be sufficient enough. Alright, so here comes the fun part of getting it up on the table. So the CFS does appear relatively light. It doesn't seem that the CFS contributed a significant amount to the weight of the printer. And I've seen people do, exaggerated lifts on this printer. Take it for what it's worth, Sorry if you guys get plumber's crack back there. Alright, so that wasn't too difficult. Shit. So something I forgot is the Bowden tubes and the PTFE, whatever you want to call it. They go from the spool holder. I forgot to put the spool holder on. The PTFE that goes from the spool holder to the printer. The PTFE from, blah, blah, blah. So I'm assuming that this is how the side spool holder goes. There's two screws. Seriously, I'll grab you guys. So there's two screws on the back right there. Obviously they have a diagram of the side spool holder there. So we will keep chugging along. Oh, and something else too that I was thinking about doing is putting up time lapses. I don't know if I'm gonna do shorts. I don't know. Haven't quite figured that out yet. If there's something specific that you guys would be interested in seeing, let me know. Again, I don't do this for a living, so it's gonna be hit or miss about how it works out. So. Actually, before I time that screw down. Sorry about that if you're watching this wearing headphones. So the actual frame of the side spool holder feels sufficient, but one thing I would have liked is if they could have made this a rolling holder. It's just static, and then obviously the roll as it unwinds, well, it's going to be unwinding counterclockwise, feeding up into the tube. But yeah, I just like it when stuff has a smoother path to work with. Right, so let's get some PTFE tubes out. So we got some spare, we have long, we have spool holders. So it seems like they've done a lot more updating to their packaging. So As you can see here, I'm not going to go through and show you guys every package, but it actually has a diagram of where the filament or where the PTFE tube is designed to go. So this one, for example, goes from the spool holder to the top of the printer. Now the printer, from what I know, is interchangeable between the PTFE going to the side spool and the PTFE going to the CFS. Oh, so they actually include the 100 centimeter cable for the CFS. That actually works out really well, because I don't know if I'm going to have the CFS up on top of the printer or if I'm going to have it beside it. But I'm glad that I can use that if I so please. Sorry, I'm just getting a little bum fuzzled here. I'm not used to doing this. So I'm not sure what the technical name of these connectors are. I call them shark bite connectors because it reminds me of something that I use in construction. But these are designed to where all you got to do is push down until you feel it lock into place, give it a slight tug, and then in order to release them from the connector, all you do is push down on the connector and pull out on the tube, and it's just that easy. I've seen people yank and rip these tubes out, which destroys the actual connector, as well as your hose, tube, whatever going in there. And it appears that there's three or four spare PTFE tubes. Let's get this inside. I don't know if we're going to need a full kit, but if we do, it'll be here. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a view, I was actually really excited to get this with the printer, because I was worried whether I was going to have all the necessary tools or not. But yeah, it is a very impressive set. So this is, obviously just like a $30 or $40 folding table from Walmart. I've heard that this printer likes to do a little bit of jumping jacks when it's printing. So we'll see how it holds up, and we'll see the quality of the prints. If I need to, I can always screw some strapping onto it and screw it into the studs in my wife's shop. If she lets me, of course. What the hell am I doing? So I need the top. Something else that I really hate on glass is fingerprints, residue, dust, anything like that. And I've heard, I've seen on a couple of posts on Reddit and a couple of review videos of from content creators saying that the PTFE tube from the extruder rubs up against the glass and actually scratches it up pretty bad. So I don't know yet, might have to do something about that. So trying not to get overwhelmed here. Screen. Do we want to do the screen right now? No. I want to get the CFS done. Alright. Sorry, parts. I can't remember if I showed this or not, but right there, I'm assuming that's where another location where you can put the buffer tube at. We'll see. I'm just going to try some of the extra screws that came with the printer and see if those fit. And I can tell you right now that they're not even close. Oh, there was a couple of screws in the bag that had the Allen key in it. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Here we go. Oh, perfect. So, I am an idiot and didn't read the packaging, so it actually says buffer screws on it. I just saw the unboxing wrench tag and like, oh, cool. I'm not gonna need those other screws. Alright, so let's get the CFS back up here. And then I need the buffer tube, which is right here. Alright, and again, this is another instance where I would love the long reach Allen key, because down inside there is where the screws go. And just a little bit of length. Obviously I'm going to have enough room to get it, but let's see, so the PTFE goes from there. So I'm just trying to figure out the orientation that I want the buffer tube in. I'll probably just do it like this for now. And thankfully it's only 2 screws, so if I want to change it later, it's just as easy as taking those screws out. So I know some people will want to just torque the ever-loving hell out of these. You don't want to do the classic ugga. This just feels like some thin wall plastic for the buffer tube, and I don't want to break it, so I'm just snugging it up a little bit. That's the port. Alright. That's what I'm going to do. Buffer PTFE too short. This is the one that goes from the buffer to the printer. So I don't need that one yet. PTFE too long. And what I may need to do is, if I want the CFS on the side of the printer, is I might need to actually order a long spool of PTFE tubing. So what I'm going to do is actually put the PTFE tube short, going from this port to the number 1 port on the buffer. And then I'm going to do the. So for now, I'm going to have the CFS up on top of the printer. And again, if I decide to change it later, it's just as simple as popping off a couple of tubes and moving it. And then just go down. Just go down. And another thing that I wanted to point out as well, I would definitely recommend going through the quick installation guide. I'm going to read over it later and kind of go over that. I guess that's my fault on that. I should have been flipping through here so that way I could show how easily understood it is. It appears alright, so there's that. So setup guide appears rather simple. I first looked at this and I thought, oh shit, that's a lot of steps to go into it, but it appears that they just offer that the instruction manual. Yeah, it's only like 5 pages. Actually, the quick install guide just goes over the basics with, as far as the screen mount and stuff like that. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. I might have to put the do some captions post editing. Didn't even think about how I'm just mumbling over here. Anyways, the instruction manual, I would definitely recommend going through it. The only reason I've been able to turn and burn as much as I have is, again, I've watched probably 30 unboxings of this printer. So it's just kind of like, oh, cool, I know where this goes, I know where this goes, I know where that goes, so on and so forth. So it seems like we can use Alright, so I'm actually going to need to go into the quick installation guide for the CFS. CFS firmware buffer, CFS 45 port, power adapter socket. Okay, so that's an adapter now. Okay, so I don't know if it's just, oh, there it is, okay. Alright, so I'm assuming that I gotta use the 100 centimeter 485 cable to go from the CFS down to the printer on the back side. Oh, no shit. Read the diagrams, dumbass. Alright, so the 45 centimeter goes from the CFS, the top of the buffer tube. And then the 100 centimeter goes from the CFS down to the bottom of the printer. It threw me off because I am putting the buffer tube on the back of the CFS. Whether that comes back to bite me in the ass or not, we'll see. That will be to be determined at this point. Let's get rid of these baggies. Alright. And then I need the PTFE tube to go from the CFS to the buffer tube. I got that one. got the buffer mounted. I've got the PTFE from the CFS to the buffer, from the buffer to the printer. I've got the PTFE tube from the side spool to the printer. I've got the 485 cable from the CFS to the buffer and the 485 cable from the CFS to the printer. And I've also got the power cable installed on the bottom of the printer as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back towards me. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees this way, and then I'll see if I can get you guys set up behind me or something. Shit. This door is really... Anyways. Alright, so let me get this, bonus accessories and nozzles. I'll just have to set up to the side for now. Buffer screws, joints, PTFE tube spares. So the PTFE tube spares has some short spares right there, and I'm assuming those are to go inside the buffer tube if I have any issues with clogging in there. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see when the time comes. Which hopefully won't be ever for me, since I'm not doing any sort of production printing. Alright, so all I'm doing now is I gotta take the printer and shift it down this way to this end of the table because the receptacles in the are right here. And the power cable is way back in that corner. So obviously that's not gonna work. That's I mean, a little nerve-wracking, but that's kind of the joys of not being able to have a dedicated space for it, you know? Alright, before I plug it in, before I even plug it in, I'm going to get the screen mounted up. Let me see if there it is somewhere else that I can put you guys so that you can still watch if you so please. Sorry about that. This is getting kind of annoying, but I don't want to break the video again to try to make something work, so you guys are just going to have to bear with me for a second. I apologize. Try to jerry-rig something here. Oh, we might be in business. Alright, so as you can see, the screen mount goes right here. The screen obviously is just going to clip onto it. And there's a ribbon cable on the inside that's got to get fed through the rectangular hole. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to undo my door security. So I've seen people who have had this door hinge issue get in contact with Creality customer support and get a new hinge ordered. I've seen people use 3M double-sided tape. I've seen people use super glue. I'm probably going to go with the middle option and just use some double-sided tape. So my wife and I, we use some really high-quality shit. We use 3M double-sided tape for our business products, and I just love that tape. So anyways, I'm gonna quit running my damn mouth and get back to work. Let's take out the screen mount. And the screws. Feed the ribbon cable through. Again, this is pretty thin wall plastic, so you don't want to go too hard on tightening them, tightening the screws, because you can very easily break this plastic. So I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's a couple of clips. So when you put it on, you just slide it over and that kind of locks it in place. God, it scared the hell out of me. Alright, so my wife's calling, so I'm going to have to pause the video real quick. So, for some reason, my phone just stops the recordings whenever I get phone calls, which is weird, but... So I apologize again for breaking the video. I haven't done anything. I've got the screen in my hand still. Getting connected to the ribbon cable, and then I should be ready to plug it in and get it running. Well, get it plugged in and connected to the internet. So it does turn. Unfortunately, pretty much 90 degrees is about all that you can go down, and then obviously you can go up pretty high. Anyways, there's that. So one thing I didn't see, which I was looking at the USB port, I don't remember seeing the USB stick anywhere. I think that might be inside of the toolkit. I'm not sure. But, yeah, let's get this Bad Mammoth Jamma powered up. Alright, so nothing went pop, which is a good thing. I haven't hit the power switch yet. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there's the CFS turning on. Yep, you guys can see the display there. So I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but there's 4 blinking red lights. There is one interior light. I thought it had more than that, but that's neither here nor there. So while we're letting this go up, 41% humidity. Anyways, so one thing I wanted to address while we're letting this start up before I connect it to the internet and everything is, if there are content creators that watch this, I hope, I didn't mean any disrespect by my comments that I made at the beginning of the video talking about a completely unbiased opinion. It's just in all of my research, I personally couldn't find a video of just an everyday Joe Schmo review. It was always people who had their own videos, people who review printers on a regular basis, people with sponsorships, stuff like that. If you have those sponsorships, kudos to you. All the respect in the world to you that you're able to run a business that effectively and that successfully. But that's not me. I'm nobody. I paint houses, I wire stuff, I ran the wiring in my wife's shed, I ran the wiring for the light. So that's the only reason why I said that. So I'm going to turn you around and kind of give you guys a first person view of the screen as I'm going through the set. So obviously right now it's talking about the language selection. So you can see 18 degrees Celsius, 42% humidity. I haven't opened up the desiccant packs in there yet, so I don't know if that might have something to do with it. Remove the 4 screws, so it's talking about the 4 screws in here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Please keep the green cube in the diagram clear of debris and click next. Alright, so that's something I didn't do. I've got stuff sitting on the plate. Let's see. So the USB stick does appear, unless I'm completely retarded and that's not a USB stick. Yes, it is. So the cover just pops off and then it just plugs into the side of the printer right there. Anyways. Oh, Jesus. Green cube clear, yes. Alright, red, the policy. Nope, so I'm gonna kind of take you guys off of that view for a second. Hang you back up in the case, just so that way you know I'm not doing some sort of splicing in the videos. Alright, so which one do I want to have connected to? 5G. So another thing I've heard people complain about is the responsiveness or lack thereof of the screen. And I gotta say, I'm rather impressed in how responsive it is, because I have very fat fingers. Like even on my phone, it's hard for me to get a text out without having, typos. Alright, so enter. Alright, so it is connected. It did give me an assigned IP address. Next. Time zone. Eastern Standard Time. Alright, so now what it's asking for is to scan the QR code. I think I'm going to hold off on doing that just because I'm giving you guys a live video. Plus, I just want to make sure that it's powered up and whatnot in order to do the calibrations and the firmware updates and stuff like that. I'm not going to worry about binding it to the Creality Cloud yet. I do have every intention of doing that. I might put in the description a review, like my experience going through the Creality Cloud. I've heard good and bad things, but I also know that everybody's experience is going to be different based on when they post the videos because of software updates, firmware patches, all of that stuff. So yeah, we'll hold off on that. Welcome to the self-check process. Place printing platform. Expected to take around 16 minutes. So let me actually take you guys. I'm not going to make you guys sit through 16 minutes of just dead space. So these are the things that it's going through checking right now. Nozzle heating, hotbed heating, heat break fan, model fan, input shaping, and auto leveling. So I guess I'll just hang you guys up and I'll do a time lapse. Or if I can't figure out how to speed up the playback time post editing, I may just do a little bit of cropping of the video. If that's the case, then I will definitely put up a pop-up on the screen apologizing for that. So it's going through. It appears, sorry for the reflection, it appears to be doing the homing process. Let me see if I can open the door. So it's saying it's going through doing the input shaping now. So right there it's checking the scrubber and the poop chute. So it's raising the bed up, so I'm actually going to close the door. I apologize again for the reflection, but it's going to do... Actually, I'm kind of panicking now because I don't know what happened to my tape for the door. And I don't want this door to pop open when it starts vibrating, because I guess, from what I understand, it tests different frequencies feeding into the extruder and vibrates. And it kind of, I guess it's vibration compensation, I guess you can call it. Again, that's my understanding. How accurate that is, I couldn't tell you. So, anyways, back to skipping. sorry for the interruption. I don't know if you guys can hear that or if you guys will be. But that thing is just vibrating like a son of a bitch down in there. Back on the shelf you go. Sorry for the interruption again. So what it is, going through doing the auto leveling. So I'm assuming it is in the process of heating up the bed, because obviously the auto level is not going to be accurate on a cold bed versus a hot bed. Yes, so the bed is getting warm. I don't know what temperature it is set up to heat up to before it does the auto level. And actually it feels pretty toasty. Alright, so I'm not sure exactly how long that took. I'm sure you guys saw me fiddle farting around with some other stuff back here. So now it says self-check completed. So check OK. Okay, so here's the download. Optimize bed heating logic. Fix the 2060 error caused by abnormal object exclusion commands. Built-in print files to resolve with purge length. I know that was a big issue there for a while. And then further issues to improve user experience. So we will, I'll keep fiddle farting around and y'all can hang out for the ride. So this is something that a lot of people have complained about, both content creators, people on Reddit, across the board, is how it requires you to do a calibration and then the firmware and then another calibration, which is getting ready to pop up on the screen. The necessity of it, I can understand. Because I guess it wants to identify any issues that are already on the printer when you get it, before installing firmware. Like, I guess it's got to sense the technology that's already in the damn printer before it can apply appropriate updates. Still kind of a pain in the ass, because that's 16 minutes on the calibration, about 5 minutes on the firmware update, and then another 16 minutes on the second calibration. So you're looking at about 45 minutes alone right there, just getting the printer started up, and then about an hour to get it set up. From break and tape to power on. And something else that I find interesting is, so the CFS, when I first got it set up here, it said that the relative humidity was 43%. And then I opened up the CFS, obviously, get the desiccant packs out, and get the filament put in there and everything. The relative humidity dropped from, like I said, like 43 down to about 21, and then I closed the CFS and it's back up to 29% humidity. Now the heater unit that you guys are probably hearing hum in the background does have a dehumidifier on it, and I've got the drain hose running out the wall of the shed, just draining onto the concrete pad that the shed is sitting on. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, because the printer was sitting in the house. Oh, you know what? Oh, shit. Please recalibrate before starting the printing test. Okay. So I guess select everything and start detecting, I guess. So one thing I'm going to do is get the filament fed into the PTFE tubes before I do that second calibration, because I'm not going to dick around with trying to get the print going tonight. It's just getting too damn late. I think it's like 11:30 right now. No, it's midnight. So I'm not going to dick around with it. So let me get snips. That was close. All right. I'm sure if you guys have watched unboxings and setups, you guys have probably seen this. So all you do is feed it in, and then it starts pulling the filament the rest of the way through. And I've heard people complain about the noise level of the CFS. Personally, it doesn't sound too offensive yet, but again, ideal conditions are a lot different than standard operating conditions. And on the screen, I'll pull you guys up here and show you in just a second. On the screen, it actually does update based on the RFID tags, which is kind of what I showed you guys in the time lapse. Yeah, based on the RFID tags, it's able to detect which filament it is. And I'm guessing based on the coding of the RFID tags, that tells the printer that there's, a half kilo of Hyper PLA red on there, just as an example. And it detected the white. Detected the blue. Alright, and something I'm going to have to go through and figure out is how to turn that timeout off, because I don't like it. I mean, my cell phone, my laptop, my TVs, I have the timeout all disabled on all of those. So So, like I said, it's picked up half a kilo of red, half a kilo of white, half a kilo of blue. The black, I'm going to have it refresh because it's reading that it's a full kilo on there, but as you guys can see, that's only a half a kilo. Which, if it doesn't update like that, then that's whatever. Ah, there we go. All right, cool. So what we're gonna do is come down here to. All right, so there's where I can change the screen off. All right, so it's already got the stuff preloaded on here for the benchies. So how do network system? All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to go through and figure out how I get back to that calibration menu. Oh, no shit, right? Alright, let's do the start detecting. So it's going through and it's going to redo the calibration settings. So again, I'll have you guys just kind of hang out for that. You'll have to look at my ugly mug for a minute, so I'm going to text my wife back real quick. See, this is what I was talking about, 24% relative humidity, but when I close it, jumps back up to 25, and it'll probably hover about 28% when it's all said and done. Thankfully, the self-check is complete, so okay. Let's go back home. Perfect. Sorry for the quick outro. I'm done for tonight. It's midnight. Next time y'all see me, I'll probably be wearing something different. Might have a clean shave. Might have might cut this mug. My hair's getting a little ridiculous from how I normally like it. But yeah, I'm done. Good night, y'all.